Welcome back to The Collaborative, the podcast for young professionals in Michigan's credit union world who are out here trying to connect, grow, and basically take over the cooperative finance universe, one episode at a time. As always, we're powered by Fuel Michigan, because even podcasts need a hype squad. Whether you're tuning in on your commute, at your desk pretending to look very productive, or with a cup of coffee that may or may not be your second or your third, I'm just really glad you're here. I'm your host, Camille, and let's get into it before your coffee gets cold. Today, we're joined by Taylor Neeley from Michigan Credit Union Foundation. With over 10 years in the industry, she brings a wealth of knowledge and a deep passion for financial education, helping individuals build confidence and make informed decisions about their financial futures. She's here to share her journey and the impact she's making in the credit union space. All right, welcome, Miss Taylor. Hi.
Hi, Camille. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you on this wonderful Thursday?
Doing well and super excited for this podcast episode.
Yay. I am so excited. When Aria mentioned you, I know that you are new to the MCUF, so I'm super excited to hear more about it. She told me that you've been in the industry for a while. So what drew you into the industry? What's kept you here? What about it?
So I got started in the credit union industry about 10 years ago, but that's not where I started for the financial industry as a whole. I actually used to work for the Big Blue Bank, starting in about, I know, in about, 2013. Kind of got my feet wet into the banking and finance industry. Through networking, I ended up getting connected to Elga Credit Union, and from there, it's been just a love story for the credit union movement ever since. It started for me at Elga about 2017. I started there as a teller, and just through my time in the industry and in the environment, I was able to learn more and more about the people helping people mission and what the credit union stood for. And it helped me with my own journey. So I just love it, never leaving. I'm an advocate now, so I'm always telling people, be a member of a credit union. We really do care.
Yeah. The first question when people say, hey, I'm looking for what credit union? I'm known for in my friends group of like, if you have a question about a bank or interest, like, go ask Camille. And I'm like, telling you, just go to a credit union. Just go. It's the best. And I forgot, actually, we were talking earlier about being from Flint and that area. I forgot how many credit unions are in that area because I moved away when I was 17 and I came back and I was like, oh my God, we have so many.
Yes, there are many credit unions across Michigan, many in my area. I am from the Flint area in Genesee County. So there's been a lot of credit union growth from the time that I've even started in the industry.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to see it and help people get transitioned over. Come on down because we want to save you some money, help you out.
Looking back at your career so far, what's been a defining moment that really shaped your perspective or your path in this world?
So there's been so many different little moments that have impacted my perspective just as a whole. Credit unions really do focus on people helping people. And even with my own journey, I realized that this is a place that really does care. I ended up entering the industry and having my credit report read to me for the very first time when I started. I was probably about 18 when I started in the industry, transitioned over to the credit union. I was about maybe 20 years old, but that was the very first time. I hadn't had any credit established before that. And that was the very first time that someone sat down with me and took the time out to make sure that I really understood the impact of what, financial access would have in my life. So it helped me attain my college degree. It helped me establish credit. It changed my life. And it's been so many moments where I've had members come to me and ask me just simple questions, but you would think that those little simple questions don't make a huge difference, and it does as far as how they navigate, how they're going to, how they navigate, how they're going to manage their finances.
I knew what a credit score was. I had no idea the building blocks of it until I started 8 years ago, almost at Harbor Light. And I was like, this is way more in depth than I thought.
Yes. I mean, you would even simple questions that even like, what is interest? I've had people come in and they've acquired loans, they sign their loan documents, and then they come back in and they say, what is this fee? And you're like, oh my gosh, let me help you understand, what interest is and how you can manage it and how it can work for you in the future.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people, especially where I come from. I came from like no financial education background. Like I had nothing. And I go and I don't help members as often anymore because I'm not member facing. I'm in compliance. But there are times where I am talking to a member and I think like this should be common knowledge. And then I have to remember like, girl, you didn't know this a decade ago. Don't even sit here judging people. Like,
Yeah. So I started, like I said, I started as a teller and I got into membership service roles. So I was kind of like a banker. And in those offices, I would open accounts for people, but it would be so many different types of accounts. It would be somebody maybe starting an account for the very first time, maybe for their child, maybe they are planning for the future. And so they do something for like an estate account, or maybe they're thinking about IRA, just anything that you could think of, any financial service or product that people wouldn't just commonly know. It wasn't things that I commonly knew before I started working in the environment and started offering these products and services and having to explain them in depth for people to make an informed decision. So from there, I got into the financial education space. My prior role was a financial education coordinator. So I also am CCUFC certified. I'm a certified credit union financial counselor. I earned that certification a few years ago, but it was just inspired by the questions that I would get in my office, because people, when you're sitting in office, they think you know everything, even if you don't. So the questions
yeah.
that you get, you come in, so I would make it my business to, be an informed person, to make sure that I'm telling my members and serving my members the best that I could. And, just making sure that the people have what they need.
Yeah, I'm actually going through with the MCUF, the CCUFC. I'm doing that this year. So that's been fun. And thank you, Michigan Credit Union Foundation, for all that you do.
Yes, that is something that we do. We help with financial education initiatives. We also help with financial education training for credit union employees over at the foundation. So just all overall support in supporting our credit union industry and serving their communities better, or as best as they can. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it. When I found out about at least going through the MCUF for the FISUP, I was like, this is actually genius. I love it. I've done multiple certifications, but I feel this one is it's different, and I love it. And I told Andrea at State GAC, this is amazing, whoever decided to do this. Thank you. It's not me just watching a webinar going
Yes.
and falling asleep.
Yes, it's interactive. And what I really like about it is it's actually people focused. It's actually, I would say, not so much about, well, it is talk to you about the methods, but also the connection that you can have with the member in front of you in order to be kind of shift behaviors towards a positive trajectory of financial well-being.
Yeah, I think a big thing with people is, and I know for me as well, when I've had issues, is shame of it all. There's a lot of shame in general, especially when you come to like poverty shaming and why didn't you know better? And learning how to adjust how you talk to them and like how to relate to them and move it. Like I think that's insanely important. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah, at the end of the day, these people are your neighbors. They come from the same community that you come from. Oh, they're your friends, they're your family members.
Yeah.
And we can't be an expert in everything, right? And that financial education wasn't something that was like a readily offered course in school, something that you would, something that you would use for the rest of your life and need, you would think maybe.
No, but I know algebra that I'm never going to use.
The Pythagorean theorem, right? We all need to know that for sure,
Yes.
but not how to balance a checkbook.
So I can't do the back balancing when you get the statement and you go back. I cannot do that to save. I've had like 3 different coworkers who are good at it sit down and do it with me. And I'm like, I can do it as I go.
I mean, but now we have all of this technology and all
And
of
I'm
these
like thinking,
apps.
yeah.
Yeah, now you make it easy for yourself. You can set up alerts on your phone. I have an alert set up. Anytime where my card hits a certain balance, it's like, whoa, Taylor, you need to stop spending right now.
Yeah. I'm on my grandma's account at Huntington, and she's 90. She doesn't do online shopping. She hardly does any, but she's so paranoid about being hacked. She doesn't even have her own online banking portal. Like, it's all me.
Yeah.
And she's so granted, I probably have instilled some of that fear in her, but I'd rather her be cautious. I literally have it set to anything over $10, just tell me, because I know she's going to ask me. And so I'm just like, oh, grandma went to the nail salon today. Oh, grandma went grocery shopping, because we have that. And she loves it because now she doesn't have to sit and balance her checkbook anymore. Camille takes care of it. Camille does take care of it. Yes, grandma.
Yes. And good on you for talking to her about scams and fraud and being aware and being alert about those things, because it's a valid concern now with all the
so
technology.
many people. And I've always told her, like, hang up and call back. Like, if they say they're from your place, hang up and call them back.
Oh, you probably have the best tips for her since you have a compliance background.
And her and my mom both. My mom will forward me emails of that she thinks, and I'll just see it pop up on my phone, and then I get a call a few seconds later. Is this a scam? And I'm like, I love you, and I don't mind the as much as it's like, ugh. I don't mind it because it is educating them to, like, don't put your things in, be a little bit more cautious, don't link anything. And yeah, my grandma, she got a text one time. She goes, it says my bank at this place is negative, and I don't know. And I said, well, do you have an account at that bank? And she said, no. And I said, then your account's probably not negative. Okay, just pause a little bit and think for a moment. So you built your career about being in that space of all people. You help with the education on it. You remember services. How do you approach building those meaningful connections, especially when you were, back member facing all of the time? How do you work on building those? What are tips, tricks?
Start with being authentic. I think that the only way that you can have a genuine trust is that you build a genuine connection based on just commonalities that you might have with the person, or just listening to the person and understanding their needs truly, especially with we have a common goal to help, people helping people. So I think that it's always great to lead with kindness, authenticity, and being genuine.
Even when you're having a bad day.
But sometimes when I was having a bad day, my members would come in and it would actually brighten up my day. So yeah.
Mine is also, I'll take my time. I understand that we're all busy. And that was when I was on the line. We had one teller who used to be a server. And so she'd see a line of people and go. I'm like, no, take your time. You're going to build that connection. It's better. They're in a financial institution in the middle of the day. They have nowhere to go. It's fine.
Take your time. I like that as a good tip as well.
What is something you wish more young professionals in this space understood earlier in their careers?
This is a great question, because I'm going to give the advice that I wish I still give to myself to this day is use your voice. Speak up. You have a very unique perspective, even being at the age that you are, or not having as much of maybe career experience that you're still building right now, but you do bring value to the space. You add value to the space. So, I suffer with imposter syndrome.
Girl, same. Every day.
And it's like, is this a good enough idea? Say it, share it, ask questions. That's always been a great way for me to build, is just to make sure that I'm taking those calculated risks, thinking about, I might not know everything, but I can add value in some things, and I can also learn from this environment too. So I think even just speaking up, asking good questions, being present, and not talking yourself out of opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. I like you have the unique perspective. Even if it's not going to work out, you're still giving an idea of, like, and then they can morph it into something else if needed.
Sometimes those ideas springboard to better ideas, or springboard into workarounds that, okay, actually, maybe this doesn't exactly work, but we can incorporate this piece of it, and it's very cool. So I've spoken up, and I've been able to be fortunate enough to be in a place where I see where my ideas actually come to life. And it wouldn't have if I just, sat back and cowered or felt too timid to share. And that has been me sometimes, but the times that I have taken the risk, it has always paid off.
High risk, high reward, usually. And don't let that imposter syndrome voice tell you otherwise, because
I have like the imposter syndrome voice and then the Delulu voice that's like, you can do anything is possible, go for it. I mean, I've even jumped out of a plane before. I've been skydiving. It's like, yeah, just do the thing that scares you. Just get it out of the way.
yeah. And if that is talking in front of a room full of people, then talk. Say the idea. Yeah, all the time.
Do it.
I love it. Always speak up. I think that's something at Harbor Light we've really tried to nurture in a way of always like anybody in our exec team, their doors are open, and give them an idea and they'll say, well, we haven't thought of it that way yet, but maybe we can do it this way. Or that's not possible, but what about this? And there have been a handful of times that I've walked into our COO's office and I'm like, hey, why do we do it this way? And her response is like, because we do. Cool. If I come up with an idea, like a way to change it, can we look at that? And that's where growth happens.
The fresh eyes, the fresh perspective, that youthfulness that you bring is that superpower. So might as well use it. It's like we've
Ooh,
done it because we've always done it this way. Well, times are changing.
I hate that saying. I hate it. And I've had to use it before, and I've said, I hate to say it this way, but it's just how we've always done it.
Mm-mm.
I don't like that. What is a challenge you faced and how you navigated, and what did you learn? Because you've got a lot of experience in these years. Like, what is a challenge you can think of that was kind of hard to overcome? How did you navigate it? Give us youngins some advice.
I still feel like a youngin, and I guess maybe that's
Same.
the biggest challenge probably. It's now stepping, like I said before, the imposter syndrome thing, coming from a space where what was in for 10 years plus, and then transitioning to a statewide role and thinking, I'm new to the space and what can I bring? But also realizing that piece of advice that I gave here, I give to myself. And it's like, Taylor, you add value to this space. You have a perspective that nobody has. These people maybe have, certain expertise, but you're brought in for your unique value. So just positive self-talk and just not being afraid to speak out, pushing myself to be uncomfortable, which is very, very hard. So still currently navigating, still getting better, still, pushing myself to do things that challenge me to grow personally and professionally, and seeking mentors, man, seeking out good advice. It's been helpful for me as well, just trying to navigate new terrain.
Right? How do you go about finding a mentor? Because like everybody says, "Oh, find a mentor, get a mentor." What the heck am I supposed to do? Do I just message people? Do I email them? I'm not good with that, to be honest. Help a sister out, please.
Okay. Really, what I do is I look for people that I would be in alignment with. What are these people, where I want to be in the future? I look at people that I admire, and then, I mean, not to be creepy or anything, but if I know you're going to be at a fundraising event, if I know that you're going to be at a conference that I'm going to be at, I might just go ahead and make that introduction myself and say, hey, I know that you do this work. I really admire it. Can we connect? Can I buy you a cup of coffee? Or, do you mind if we chat for a few? And usually it works out well, especially I feel like people want to help, people want to pour into the next generation. So I just ask a little researching, a little background, and then
Do some LinkedIn stalking on them, and
yeah,
I'm good at that part. To going up and being no, but that's a good way of doing it. How are you liking going to the state level? How was that change going for you?
it seems I love it because um I'm just getting to meet so many people, so many great experts, so many people that I can learn from, in different we're all in the same industry, but everybody does a little bit something different. So I have, I meet people that are in advocacy. They're working with our state and federal legislators. I'm meeting people in our foundation space. I'm also meeting people that are, that do like our systems and do,
Well, yeah.
yeah. So it's just so cool. I get to meet people in compliance and in legal, and I get to figure out, yeah, like, oh my gosh, this is a thing. So just soaking up all of the knowledge, like I can't, like a sponge. And it's just been so exciting so far being at this level.
That's amazing. Yeah, I have no words because I love that for you.
It's fun. I mean, and I kind of, before in my former role, I would travel too. I would go to different conferences and I would
Mhm.
meet people from all over. One of the conferences I went to was for QFIN. QFIN is the Financial Education Network conference that they have,
Okay.
and it brings people together from all over the US. So I was kind of familiar with meeting people on the from different states and working on that, networking on that level, but
Yeah.
super exciting that I get to see what credit unions are doing across Michigan and being able to support on a grander scale.
Bigger. Yeah, so I kind of forget that the league has so many employees to it. Like it's not like a huge, but you usually see like a handful full of y'all. You see Andrea, you see the event coordinators, Deshaun, Kieran, and Patty, and then like there's a total backside to it too that you're like, oh yeah, you guys exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's for every credit union where like I had no idea what compliance was until I looked into it and started and I went, wait, we have somebody that goes over all of this every day?
Wh- When I had the opportunity to create a financial education program for my community
Mhm.
in Genesee County. So we have in other counties, it was a tri-county area that our programs were able to have a reach within. When we were building those programs, I had the opportunity to figure out, what would work in different communities, and being able to serve in that capacity really built I guess, my love for financial education space.
I think that area, Genesee County in general, is a really good place for financial education. I think it could benefit greatly from it in the Tri-County area. As somebody who was there right before it went down, but then still has ties to it, I've watched it change over the years. And I think financial education is important all over. I think it's very important in those kind of areas that do have a lower financial education
Yeah, for
score.
sure. Financial education could impact or, can impact anyone at any age, at any stage, wherever you're at. But especially those underserved and underbanked communities stand to have the most benefit from having access to financial services that would change their life, change what they're able to do on a day-to-day basis. In my area, there are 12 consecutive banking deserts, neighborhoods that are banking deserts. That means that they do not have a financial institution within walking distance of a 2-mile radius. So what you see in those areas are check cashing places. You see the payday cash advance type of places where that's where they're getting their financial services from, which is it's not ideal. So you're
I'm pretty
right.
sure my old neighborhood is one of those.
You're right. But then you also have very rural communities that also might have those same barriers to access, right? Because they might not have a financial institution anywhere around them for, whatever,
Awesome.
5 miles, 10 miles. Just meeting people where they're at, um, and being able to support them, and giving them access it is truly life changing.
Yeah, we hear all the time about generational wealth, but it also goes the other way. There's generational poverty. And with credit unions being people helping people, I think it's our duty to try to help break that generation of poverty for them and kind of just help them succeed.
I mean, it's just a matter of knowing your resources and being able to access them truly, because we could help you, you can improve your credit score over time. You could save money. You could build a savings. You could do all of these things that will put you in a better financial situation for yourself and for your future, for your children, for your grandchildren. You could do those things. It's just a matter of knowing and just a matter of being able to get there and being able to trust those financial systems or financial institutions to say, this is a great place for me to invest my money. Usually with credit unions, you do see those generational members, right? So
Yeah.
grandpa had an account, dad had an account, and now little Jimmy is now coming in and opening his very first account.
Yep.
And it's because that we've established trust with our communities, because when you went to, a place where you're trying to start or maybe build, your credit union probably was the institution or the organization that said, hey, yeah, we can help you out with that. Here's step one, here's step two. Even if I also used to say, like, the credit union isn't the place that tells you no, they might say not yet to get you ready, because we want to make
Yep.
sure you're in the best position possible to succeed. It's all important.
100% it is. What excites you about the future of credit unions?
I get so excited about the impact that credit unions are having in their communities in real time, but the things that we stand to do even more in the future. I'm excited to see what our young professionals do to take it up the next notch in the future, because RYPs right now are rocking. They're coming out with great ideas. I don't know if you've ever been to our CU Spark Tank competitions, but
Yes,
yes.
ma'am.
So, there are young people in the credit union industry and the credit union movement that are coming up with bomb ideas,
Yep.
great things that are going to transform in the way that we're going to go next. I mean, now we're all talking about AI. We're talking about how we're going to leverage technology into our banking systems to make things better. So I'm excited just to see what we do. It's me and you and our,
Yeah. I'm so excited to see Spark Tank, the semifinals, in a couple of weeks. I participated in it last year for my chapter and then lost, which I was more than happy to, because I thought the idea of that one was great. Um, and I didn't get to go to the Moon chapter this year. And so I'm excited to see the semifinals and see what their ideas were, because I geek out on that kind of stuff.
Love it, especially when it's like that you hear of things that maybe you would have thought of but didn't know how to make it work, or things that you would have never thought of in a million years, and it's just completely transformative. It's like just I'm just honored to be in the room with these individuals and being, peers with these individuals that do such great things in our industry.
Yeah, there are some amazing ideas, and you see people, and I'm in awe of them every day. It's like, oh, you came up with that idea, and like, you seriously? And then they sit there and they present it in front of everybody, and that's another level of awe for me, because I could never. I mean, I would, but
Yeah. And it shows you also the different perspectives of each maybe career within the credit union industry, because you have people from marketing that have a really great idea. You have people from financial education, or you have people from compliance. You have people. So you're thinking like, oh my gosh, like you're right. This could be a really great idea. And I wouldn't have thought of it through a lens or seen it through a perspective of like marketing, or I wouldn't have seen it through this lens, because I'm on a different side of things.
yeah, that's where my brain is today. No, I agree 100%. What is a piece of advice that you would give somebody just starting out in the industry? What would it be?
Piece of advice for somebody just starting out, I would say don't be afraid to take initiative for things. Don't wait to be told what to do. Don't ask for permission. If you see something that needs to get done, just do it. A lot I was able to do is because I've took initiative on things. I ended up having a role created for me just because I asked. So you just take those risks. Again, like just be a risk taker and ask those questions, take the initiative, and don't be afraid.
Don't always ask for permission, but if it might have to do with compliance, you might want to ask. But also, I'm not 100% that person where I'll ask for forgiveness, not for permission, is me. And so when I got my role in compliance, my boss was like, Camille, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Okay. My
Ask
personal life
HR, ask
is that who I am.
compliance.
But I do agree, like sometimes just ask. Ask for, hey, I did this. As long as you know, the compliance in me says, as long as you know that it's not going to be an issue with compliance, like you're just changing a simple process, ask for forgiveness. That's fine. But if you're bringing a whole new thing, please talk to compliance.
Make sure. Yeah, there were some definite checks and balances. When I was creating our financial education program, I did have to get with our compliance team for the disclosures that had to go
Yep.
on our displays and things like that. So I had to say, is this verbiage okay? So yes, definitely for those things, but to create a concept and say, hey, this is what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
this is
just
the
do
direction.
it.
Just present, hey, you could present it, say, hey, what do you think about this? Compliance will tell you, hey, that's not, just change the word. Don't say free, say at no cost to you.
Yeah. I always think of when I have those ideas or like the worst thing they can do is say no. That's what I have to tell myself. That's like, I think that's my piece of advice adding on to yours is like, do it, take initiative. The worst thing that they can do is say no. We don't. Then, okay, so what can I do to make it a yes?
Yeah. Best case scenario, it is a yes. So
Yeah, like you have two scenarios. It could go really great or not so great, but you can probably make it so it goes great. That's
you miss
solid advice.
100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Yes, Michael Scott, whoever, I can't even remember it today, but I know that one. I used to have it hanging up in my office. That is all the questions I had for you. I have loved talking to you and learning about your journey and meeting you officially. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Camille. This has been such a pleasure. Anytime, bring me back on the pod.
I plan to. Thank you
Maybe we
again.
could do a check-in after I've been in the role for a few months.
We might be able to do that. We can make that happen. I'll also be at ACE around talking to people with mini microphones. So maybe I'll come find you and do a little mini microphone sesh.
We have to. We're both Flintstones. We have to link up.
Yes, 100%. Thank you again.
Thanks, Camille.